Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to crumble!
I'm Joshua Kemble, and welcome to Joshua Kemble's Livestream. I've been a freelance illustrator and graphic designer for over 20 years. I was an art director for 9 years. And when I'm not art directing and working on illustrations and graphic designs, I'm working on comic books and graphic novels, and that's usually what I do during my streams. And while conversations can go all over the place on this stream, from spicy and entertaining to goofy and silly, one thing stays consistent throughout every stream. I'll always be working on art. So pull up a chair, get your art supplies out, and get ready for an entertaining show that'll keep you company while you work on your own personal art projects. This is Joshua Kemble's Art Stream. All right, yes, let's go. This is me, Joshua Kemble. I am going to be working on comics today, and I'm actually pretty pumped. For those of you who don't know, what I've been doing recently is like substitute teaching, and I ended up taking like a long-term sub gig for a while, and so I've been teaching like history and civics and like all sorts of stuff like that. And that's kind of what I've been doing for like day job type stuff for the last year. And it is now summer, which is really good news in the sense of, wow, cool, I can focus on art, and also really terrifying because it means I'm completely reliant on freelance all summer. However, what makes it a little less scary is that I've done freelance professionally for over 20 years. And so this is all something I can do, which I'm really excited about. But I'm also really excited about a couple things. One is I just released a solo album. I'm probably going to play some songs from it on this live stream. But if you want to check it out, you can check out They Don't Care About the Born, which is my latest 10 songs that I've released. And I'm proud of it. It's on Spotify, on YouTube, on Amazon, on iTunes, all of that. So wherever you get your music, just kind of search for Joshua Kemble. The link to the Spotify is down there, where you can check it out for free, which is great. Anyhow, so I'm excited about that. Gary Hodges said, Mr. Kemble, how's it going? Anyhow, today what I plan on doing is I wanted to knock out a rough for page 109 of Death of the Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. So I'm going to work out that rough. Pepsi Cola said, good morrow, just downloaded the album. Looking forward to listening during a long drive tomorrow. That's awesome. I hope it sounds great in your car. My friend Robbie Coleman mastered it, and I did all the mixing, recording, all the instruments and stuff like that. But he is the guy. Like, I send it to him, and it comes back, and all the levels are like perfect. I'm happy with it. So yeah, I don't know what magic he does. I've recorded with him before too, where because he has like a nice studio locally, and he's just a really great guy. And the neat thing is he just like really loves doing it, so he kind of hooks me up, which is really cool. Those matters. But anyhow, good guy. And we'll probably be listening to some of those tracks today while I work on art. And I'll be previewing 2 new tracks that aren't mastered, that I've also recorded, because for some reason, ever since getting that Strat, which is funny because I've always viewed myself as like a Telecaster guy, but since getting that new guitar, I've just been really inspired to write music. Something unlocked inside of me, and so I have to make music, which has been really fun. And reminds me, we talked about this on Artcasters last night, but it kind of reminds me of the whole reason I got into art in the first place, which was to just try to make cool stuff. And so that's kind of what we're going to do today is I'm going to work on trying to make cool stuff. This one happens to be for Turner Publishing. And so that's cool. So it'll see the light of day, maybe get like 4 or 5 readers. Who knows? And I have books out too, Jacob's Apartment and 2 Stories, which you can check out. Those are 2 graphic novels. But we're going to continue down this path of making graphic novels and kind of hang out, work on art today, maybe listen to some tracks. I'll probably start with the ones that are released. But stick around if you want to hear 2 unreleased tracks that aren't even mastered yet. I figure since I've been recording a lot lately, it might be a fun thing to throw into the streams where I throw like a new song or 2 that I've tracked. And I think the theme of the next album that I'm going to be doing is probably going to be like hostile workplace. That's what I think my next theme is going to be. And so I think that's something worth talking about because it's a problem in America. So anyhow, yeah, so that's going to be fun. So we're going to do some art. Nice. Pepsi Cola said, woo, behind the scenes stuff, 90s garage band nostalgia. Exactly. I love garage bands. I was in a garage band. I was in a bunch of garage bands in the 90s. So I definitely have that nostalgia. So yeah, so let's get into breaking down before we play music or anything like that. There's a couple things that I can't listen to music while I do. And I think Gary will relate to this. We're going to start with the process of kind of breaking down a script, writing, like blocking out what it needs to be from the script. And then from there, we're going to kind of make a rough. And that's all I want to accomplish during this. But the first section of this is going to be me taking the script and kind of break it down to a list of stuff that I need to do. Based like for the page in text, and then from there we'll make a thumbnail, and then from there we'll make a rough. So that should be pretty fun. Let's stop looking at my ugly face and look at some art. Okay, so down here is the script. Down below my obnoxious logo right here, just my cheapo Wacom tablet that I'll be using to kind of work. And then over here is where I draw stuff and all that fun stuff. And then right here is, unfortunately, you're going to be seeing me. But you know, that seems to be a thing people do on live streams. So I figure, what the heck? And I'm going to have some coffee too, because it's morning. How are you guys doing? It is Saturday morning. I feel good. I feel rested, which is kind of a nice thing. Like the other day, like yesterday, man, I was torched. I gotta say, like, credit to people who teach. I've taught college and stuff like that, but people who teach, you're teaching like 35 plus kids a day, per period, right? So it's like 35 to 40 kids. And creating lesson plans like for all of them, and then like 4 different sections. So I had to do like 4 preps for like the last like few months. And I gotta say, man, like that is exhausting work. It's like, you think like, oh, the hours are kind of short and stuff like that, but oh my gosh, it's tiring. So yesterday, it's like when the semester read, I was like, I felt like like a college student again, where it's like, in college, when you get to that like last chunk, and you finally finish the semester, you have like a day of just recovery. Like you want to party and have fun and stuff like that, but you're just like, oh my gosh, I need to sleep for like 5 days. And I definitely had that yesterday, which was like the first day of summer. So that was cool though, but I hung out with my kid. We played a little bit of games, and I also caught up on some freelance, did some revisions. But now, today, I'm in a position to work on stuff. So let's take a look at the last 2 roughs, because those are the scene. So the scene that I'm going to be drawing, we've just come from, so this is an autobiographical about Elizabeth Barrett Browning, right? And it also has a character named Daniel Douglas Home, who is a spiritualist. He like does like seances and stuff like that, and is very popular in the Victorian era. Kind of going from like wealthy house to wealthy house, having different wealthy society people like host like seances that he'll then like proctor. And so in in this long story, Home doesn't have a good relationship with Elizabeth's husband, who's Robert Browning. They're both famous poets at the time. And Robert thinks that Home is a charlatan who kind of takes advantage of people who've lost loved ones. And he kind of can't stand Home. And Home has kind of disrespected Robert Browning publicly a couple times, to the point where Browning kind of kicked him out of their house. And so then we had a scene where Sophie, who is a young character who was just introduced, somewhat obsessed with Elizabeth, like really interested in Elizabeth's poetry, really wants to befriend Elizabeth. She has talked to Mr. Home and asked him if she could kind of like find out his secrets. And like well, if you're interested, like meet me. Finally, like the last scene was like, at Home's residence. It's actually at the Reimers, which is where Home is staying currently. He's doing like a residency almost. And he has met with Sophie. Sophie basically has said, "How do you do it? How do you do your shtick? Like, how are you convincing people that what you're doing is contacting the dead?" And he actually is like hesitant to share any information, but also is kind of creepily offering, maybe like hinting at an exchange of like physical activity in exchange for information. And Sophie's basically saying, "Hey, I'm not going to give you physical, activity, but what I will do is I'll destroy your enemy." And he's like, "And who's my enemy?" And he's like, "Well," and she's basically saying, like, "Well, Robert Browning has been talking crap pretty much, and I can ruin her relationship, Elizabeth's relationship with Robert." And suddenly it's like kind of, I'm paraphrasing, but the scene kind of ends with, um, with, Home now interested, very interested in it. And with Sophie basically saying, "I can come between the two of them because there's one thing that Robert can't stand." And as we know from the story so far, it's the fact that Robert's really annoyed by the spiritualism. He doesn't really bond. He and Elizabeth are very tight, but they have no connection over Elizabeth's wild interest in spiritualism, supernaturalism. And I think it's partially because Elizabeth, as we learned at the very beginning of the story, lost her brother at sea who died. And so now we're on this scene, and now we've transferred back to Elizabeth's residence, Casa Guidi, with Home. And so page 107, we are introduced back to, we needed an establishing shot. These are roughs, by the way. Pepsi said, "Love a dramatic sabotage scheme. I'm in. Sounds fun." Yeah, this script is great. I love this story. I just think it's an excellent story. It's great. It's historical fiction, so it's like most of this is actual history and documented in letters, which is great, and nobody's written about it. So that makes this a really special book, I think. Yeah, and then the weird thing is the stuff you think was invented isn't, and then the stuff that you'd think uh, is true, like some of it is invented just to kind of fill in gaps and stuff. But like the really absurd stuff in this story, the really far out there stuff, that all happened in history. It's kind of crazy. So, okay, so we have now we have basically reintroduced establishing shot to Casa Guidi, and then the next scene is kind of in the kitchen, which we haven't seen before. That's why I had to do an establishing shot of the building again, just to say, hey, we're at Casa Gaidi again. Because we've introduced this multiple times throughout the story. But I don't want to jerk people like throwing them in a location where they're like, where are they again? Especially if it's this room in the building that we haven't seen yet. We've seen the building, but we haven't seen the room. So now we're introduced to the kitchen, and then we're hearing, you know, basically Sophie and Elizabeth talking behind the door. We don't know that it's them yet. Then we kind of zoom in on a door that's in the kitchen, and we now see, oh, they're in the pantry with a candle between them, and they're kind of giggling and talking about focusing and trying to kind of make things happen. So it's like, okay, clearly they're trying to do some kind of supernatural thing in the pantry, of the Casa Gaidi kitchen. So then we get to 108. 108, they're both focusing really hard, and then suddenly Sophie has a contact and starts saying, if a spirit be present, give us a present. If a spirit be present, give us a sign. And looking like she's really focusing. And then the candle flickers, and that's kind of where we're at. So now I need to kind of work out this scene, which is going to be page 109. So, so that kind of, like, even though I just kind of wrapped through it and I haven't drawn anything yet, that's a really big part of working sequentially, is like, you got to get yourself back. It's similar to writing in the sense of you get yourself back into the scene that you were working on. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is make a list. I'm going to make a list of things from the script that I want to break down into thumbnailing for. And by the way, like, all these layers are from previous pages. So this is all like from my roughs for page 107 and 108. And like, the nice thing is they'll have a lot of reference that I already pulled for eventually the final too. But I do need to do like 3 more roughs before I start getting into finalizing these pages. So anyhow, okay. But we're just going to work on one for this live stream. Also, hope you guys are doing well. I also really want to read Mr. Hodge's script. That's another thing that I want to do this weekend. So I will try really hard to read that. If it's not too late to read it, if Harry's still listening. Okay, so now we're going to have... So we left, like, the last panel was a close-up and the fire speckling going. Okay. Now, I don't know if speckling is a word. Speckling? Oh, Gary said it's not too late. Okay, great. So I'm going to try to read that either tonight or tomorrow night. And the reason I put it off reading it is when I'm reading somebody's script, I want to take notes, like, for them, just in case any of them are helpful. But I also have 2 books that are piled. Like, the problem is I've also been really inspired in writing music. So I have, I still need to read Paul's latest Perez book, which I just absolutely cannot wait to like sit down with that book. And I also still need to read Christopher Runciman's book, although I did peek over that. Like, I read a bunch of those. Those go a little quicker because they're 1-page comics. And that's a beautiful book. It's a nice little hardcover. So, but I want to sit down and read all of those. But to me, priority would be the script that needs feedback, or might be helped with some feedback. So I think I'll prioritize that first. Okay, why am I I'm rambling with a bunch of information none of you guys need to know. So okay, let's make our list. So here's a list. And what we're going to do is go point by point in the script. So the script is, for 109, Sophie is saying, "Spirit, we implore you." And then she whispers, "Did you fear it? Did you feel that?" Elizabeth leans toward her. So there's an action, and that's always good to kind of remind yourself, like, look for actions in script. because whatever the actions are, that's going to need to be a panel. And it's something that a lot of screenwriters don't consider when they're first doing comics, is like every action that's described has to be visually shown generally. It's hard to like show multiple actions in one single frame. You can, but it's just like I think generally sequentially, if there's an action, you want to show it. You want to show it and not tell it. Which is like another one of those little sequential rules, show don't tell kind of thing. Okay, so we have for the first part, it's going to be I'm going to have it be Sophie text. I'm going to have one panel be Spirit, we implore you. And then 2 is going to be EBB leans to Sophie. And then have this be Sophie text. And then here I say EBB pulled away. EBB is for Elizabeth Barrett Browning. So that's now we've got two panels. I'm gonna actually say 3. Okay, so then 3 is Elizabeth is squeezing her eyes shut. And then I this is tough. Sophie translate. Okay, this might be a lot of panels. We'll see. We'll consolidate some of them too. This is why I make a list before I even thumbnail. Okay, so then there's a sound effect, which is rattle, rattle, rattle. And Elizabeth and Sophie's eyes open in horror. So I think here I'm going to put shot from shelves facing door. EBB and Sophie foreground. So I'm going to have Elizabeth and Sophie in the foreground, and then it's going to be like a reverse shot. So it's not crossing the line. It'll be the exact opposite of the shot from the previous page, where it'll be showing. Now we're going to actually see, because I think currently in this scene I have Elizabeth on the left and Sophie on the right. So this will be just flipping that. So now we're going to have Sophie on the left, Elizabeth on the right, the door of the pantry in the background. And we're going to have the sound effects, the rattle, rattle. And I might even put low shot, because I feel like that might help, but maybe not. 5 is going to be the shot of door knob turning. 6 is going to be the same, doorknob turning, just so I can show that it's turning. And then we're going to have, I want to have Sophie text. I'm going to have Sophie going, huh? And then a gasp, S gasp. So doorknob, it's probably going to be really close up on Sophie's face with the doorknob kind of in her view, where she's going to go like as it turns. And then 7 is going to be Elizabeth and Sophie hold each other. Wow, this is a lot of actions. Door. And then 8 is going to be Kindle goes out. 9 is going to be Creek SFX with door opening a crack. And then 10, I'm going to see if I can consolidate this to like less, even though some of these panels are going to be insert shots, like the doorknob moving and stuff, but still art, figure, silhouette. Okay. So the nice thing is what I'm going to do here is try to consolidate these like, as few of panels as I can possibly do, and then we'll thumbnail it. And then once I'm done with thumbnails, then we'll be able to listen to some music together, which I'm pretty excited about. Music that I wrote and made, so that'll be cool. Okay. I think this can be one panel. It's better as 2 for pacing, but we'll just do this as 1. So that'll be good. So we can do Sophie saying, "Spirit, we implore you." Did you feel that? And Elizabeth leaning towards her, and Sophie saying, "It was almost a breath on the back of my neck." That'll be 1. This can be 2. So I think having Elizabeth squeezing her eyes shut, Sophie in a trance-like straight shot from the shelves, facing the door with EBB, with Elizabeth and Sophie in the foreground, and the sound effects of rattle, rattle, rattle. That can all be 1 panel. The insert panels, the door turning, will be 2 panels. Those have to be, because we have to show the turn. So I want to show the doorknob in one place and then turn. It just needs to happen. So that'll have to be 3 and 4. But we've already reduced it, which is good, because we don't want crazy amounts of panels on a page unless they have to be. This one has to be 2 panels as well, probably the same size of panels, where we're going to have Elizabeth and Sophie are holding each other in terror. And then 6, the candle goes out. And then we're going to have 7 and 8. We have 8 panels. That's a little more doable. And I think that these will be like insert panels. So that puts me in a pretty good place to start the thumbnails. Dylan's joining us. How you going, Dylan? How you doing, man? All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a trailer real quick, and then we will get into thumbnails, because we have our list, which is great. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'll call that thumbnails, and then we'll get into thumbnails after these messages. And then we'll, once we're done with thumbnails, then we can listen to some previews. I'll be playing, songs from my album that I just released, that's under Joshua Kemble. and it's called They Don't Care About the Born. It's a rock and roll punk rock album. You should check it out. But I'll play some songs from it. And then I might be even previewing 2 songs that I haven't mastered or released yet. So they're unmastered. They're not going to sound quite as good as the 10 that are released, but it's a sneak peek at 2 new songs, which will be really cool. So stay tuned. Here is, I'm going to play Adventures in the Library by Frank Salazar because it's lovely. And then we'll come back and we'll do thumbnails.
Our heroic adventurers fought orcs, monsters, sorcerers, necromancers. Now they find themselves in front of a mystical library. What shall they find? It's all in the roll of the dice.
We've come this far. There's great power behind this door. I can feel it. We just have to get past it. This door is no match for my axe. I shall chop it down. You always want to use brute strength. Why don't you try knocking? We'll try it your way. You may enter. The library is open to all those who seek knowledge. Feel free to look through our tomes. Maybe you'll find the answers you seek. I sense great power here, and it's behind those shelves. Indeed, there are powerful items hidden behind these shelves, but you can only get there through the enchanted words. Do you have those words? I believe I do.
Tremble before the Krembo.
There is great power. Look at that glove. Must be so powerful. That is not where I sense this power. I must get closer. I found them. I found these sacred manuscripts written by Joshua Kemble. Behold, I now possess 2 stories and Jacob's apartment. Please tell us more about 2 stories and Jacob's apartment, and who is Joshua Kemble? Xeric Award-winning cartoonist Joshua Kemble is a freelance artist, graphic designer, and author. 2 Stories is a confessional graphic memoir that grapples with questions of faith, mental illness, depravity, and ultimately redemption in a fallen world. Jacob's Apartment is a coming-of-age graphic novel in the vein of Ghost Road and Fun Home. It weaves together the threads of spiritual faith, identity, purpose, love, and loss to create an engrossing world in which waking and sleeping dreams collide. You have made your choice. The passage is now closed. Wait, can I get that glove? No. Oh. All right, let's go.
All right, so we're going to start our thumbnails. So the first one is Spirit, we implore you, whispering, did you feel that? And Elizabeth leaning towards Sophie, and Sophie saying, it was almost a breath on the back of my neck. So we're going to do, and this is going to be 8. Okay, cool. So also I have a reference of a Victorian pantry that I'm kind of using in my head as where the scene is going to take place. Without the window. So you want to imagine that room without a window, because again, we want it to be like pitch black. So, okay. I want this to be, let's see. Okay, I want this to be the direct shot where we're kind of crossing the line of action, but in the proper way. So this is going to be Sophie. Sophie will be here. She's on the on the left. Let's start looser than. Okay. So we're gonna have Sophie here. She's gonna be doing her trance stuff. She's got her hand on Elizabeth's hand. She's kind of sitting here. We're gonna have the candle here. And then we're gonna have Elizabeth here. Maybe her arm should be more here. Elizabeth's going to be leaning forward. She's like shocked. But also kind of sitting on the floor. And then we're going to have our pantry stuff here. Again, this is the thumbnail. So the point of a thumbnail here is not to have it be legible to anyone except me. Because what we're going to do is, once I have these little stick figures kind of worked out and stuff, then we're going to kind of get into the meat of filling it out a little bit, establishing a setting, that kind of thing. There's kind of bigger bins that I want to have in there, and then I also want to have various like bottles and stuff over here on the shelves. And then I want to look again. Yeah, it's about 3 shelves. So we'll make that like 3 shelves, but make them wider. And then I think here we can have like an under shelf. And this is going to be, let's see, we're going to have our, what else do I want in here? I want to have the text where he's going to be saying, "Spirit, we implore you," up here. And then we're going to have our whisper here. So we'll do like almost like a stacked thing. It's almost a breath on the back of my. This will be the "Did you feel that?" So it'll be da da da. I like the idea of this. This may be, again, this is kind of really roughly working things out, but I'm like, okay, I want to have the text kind of start here where it'll be like, "Spirit, we implore you, blah, blah, blah. Did you feel that?" This is going to be smaller text to imply that it's being whispered. And then this will be the bigger here. And then that can all go here. So it'll be bop, bop, bop. Okay. So now I want to kind of fill this out a little more. And then what we'll do is we'll actually kind of get in there and start blocking things in a little bit. I'm not really going to be worried about too much of the details because, again, this is a thumbnail. So what we'll probably do is fill out a little bit so that I can almost use this as like a blue line underneath to kind of fill out the rest. And then I do want this candle here. And there's the candle. And this will be the kind of candle container or whatever. Okay, and then I know she's wearing like a dress, so we have that kind of worked out. And her, there we go. And then Elizabeth's going to be more kind of shocked. And Elizabeth has her Elizabeth hair, which is very distinctive, and I'm kind of used to by now. I'm not going to bother blocking in the text yet of what they're saying, because again, we're just doing a thumbnail here and kind of roughing in some of the details, some of the deets. I like the idea of Elizabeth having this going on, and then similarly kind of over here. And then we'll have our stuff on the shelves that we can then work out once we have a final thing going. And once I get to like the actual roughs, like I think we'll have a little more space. But what I like about this and thumbnailing, right, is I'm seeing some awkwardness that can be totally saved here. I should move back. No, I don't want the magic eraser tool. I just want an eraser. And then I want this not a block. I want it as a brush. So I like the idea of actually increasing the space here so that we have like less of an awkward thing going. So this can be the spirit I implore you. And then here will be the did you feel that? And then here can be the part about, you know, it was almost a breath on the back of my neck or whatever. And then here we'll have this kind of here. And I think we're doing 3 tiers of shelves or 2. Yeah, 3 tiers. 3 tiers of shelves. So I need another shelf here. And then I do want this to be like a countertop kind of thing. And this will be a shelf in the background. And what else? More shelves. More shelves. We need lots of shelves. I feel like Victorian shelves just don't get a fair break in comics. They need to be there more often. Okay, and then we've got to do our little, like, there's these bins that are going to be kind of these rounder bins. I want to have those in there. And then from there, I think that'll do it for the thumbnail, right? That I really need. I don't need much more detail going on in there. So that we're going to call done. So I always do this. I check that off my list. And then we'll get to thumbnail 2. Thumbnail 2 is going to be the rattle. And this is going to be the other scene. So now we're going to flip the view 180. And maybe we'll do it a little slimmer so that that other place will have more space for the text. And then we'll do our... oh, I need to make sure I'm not doing this on the list page. That would be good. Let's do this on our thumbnails. So in this case, we're going to flip it entirely. So this will be Sophie. She's in her trance-like state. Why am I drawing details first? Let's do our shapes first. So Sophie's in her trance-like state. She's going to be kind of in there. Maybe her hands down a little bit, not quite so and then I think we'll have Elizabeth here, who's leaning toward Sophie, and her eyes are going to be shut. But now I'm going to have her... You know what? Maybe her arms are like forward now. She's almost going to be leaning forward a little bit. And then we're going to have our candle here, right? Just signifying, hey, we're on like a different side of the room here. And then our doorway, which can be almost like honestly placed here. And we're going to establish that if the doorway, yeah. Let me see if I established where the doorknob is on this door on this page. Yes, I have. So it would actually be on the left. So this will be like a rattle, rattle, rattle. And here we can have this kind of being like the entry point for the or the end point for the shelves. So we're going to have shelf stuff here, and again, shelf here, shelf stuff here. And I like this being a little tighter in. And then we'll establish that this is Sophie, trance-like state. So she's gonna have her eyes kind of wide open, but her eyes almost rolled back in her head, and then which would be clearer with color, right? Because you're just gonna see the whites of those eyes with no pupil. And then I want her posture to be a little better here than Elizabeth's. Elizabeth's posture is going to be a little more freaked out and intrigued. And we're going to just have this here, and we're going to see how this kind of all fits. And then Elizabeth's actually now on this side. Elizabeth's closing her eyes again, though, in this point. And I know weird, but it's like, to me, starting it out like this, where it's you're kind of working it out. Like, I think the way to do it with especially thumbnails, right? You're supposed to be kind of loose. You're not super concerned about much other than just the framing and just establishing, the beats of the story, the angle. And then once I get to roughs, that's where I'll start fleshing it out just a little bit more, cleaning it up and adding some value, just so I have a rough idea of like what my lighting is going to look like on the final page. I mean, here, obviously, like, Elizabeth's a little out of proportion with, like, she's huge compared to Sophie, but we're still getting the framing pretty much down here. And then, again, like, I'm going to have the candle here. There's going to be a door. I just want to clarify that frame a little bit, panels to it, because I think that's what it had on the previous page. And then now we're going to just clarify like the shelves just a tiny bit. And maybe there's more of those kind of bins going. Do, 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 do. And again, like there's a nice rough idea of like what I do for that panel. And now I can just kind of resize it and place that here. I have two nice wide panels. And maybe here maybe we'll cut this a little bit. Right, so that it can be a little taller. Yeah, and then it's pulling in a little tighter on the door. So we have two panels thumbnailed. So now we've got our two panels. I'm going to go back to my list and toss out two. And now I need to have this. Actually is great that we crossed line because now I want a close up of Sophie in the foreground with the like the doorknob and it turning. So this is actually like just coincidentally ends up kind of where I needed them to be in the framing. So I'm glad I crossed the line of action. So let's do our doorknob panel. Let's see, those could be like two wide panels. Or two tall panels. Let's do that. So I'm going to do this one and it'll be Sophie in the foreground staring in fear at this. And this will have to have like a keyhole or something. And then here we can have like, oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, I want this to be more from. Let's try doing something a little more fun. Just trying to think of like a better way to kind of show this, like a little more dramatic. So I think there I'll just tilt the view of this a little bit, and then we'll do like almost like we see the knob a little bit more. And then that way we can have like a little bit more visual interest in like how this plays out. Let me see. And maybe we have more of like a horror kind of thing going. I don't like the angle still. I feel like I need to spice it up a little bit. So let's make the angle even more kind of dynamic. So I'm liking the knob. We'll do like our doorknob. I like the idea of this being almost, maybe it's more like this. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now we've got it. Getting a little more interesting. Okay. So that's going to be our angle. And then here we'll have this reduce again. And basically do the exact same shot, but this one is going to be, the doorknob's turning, which is really easy peasy to do. That'll be like the easiest of these thumbnails. It's just be, oh my goodness, the doorknob turned. And I'm going to have it say clack, even though that's not in the script, because that's a little more. Maybe it'll say like clack. And here it could go like chick clack. That's like a. Yeah, okay. That works. And then, so that would be, oh, and I accidentally did this on my list. Come on. Do. So thumbnails, we're going to have this a little bit smaller. And then we're going to go back to our list. Here, door turning. Oh, Sophie's supposed to be going, huh? Here. So let's go back here. Huh? Okay, and then we're going to have, now we're going to have Elizabeth and Sophie hold each other. And we're going to have the candle over here. And this will be the doorway. This is going to be Sophie. This is going to be Elizabeth. And then the candle is going to go out, which will be here. Same shot. And that, well, I'm not usually going to do a lot of shading on the thumbnail, but here at least it's going to clarify what happened here. So the candle went out. Now they're in pitch black. And then we're going to have the door open. And I want to have like almost like that. Creek. And this will be like, light spilling into it. Let's have it like that. But it's just barely opening. And then we'll have almost the same shot. This time it's going to be the silhouette of a figure. Silhouette of a dark figure. Okay, cool. Woohoo! We did it. All right, we have our thumbnails done. Done and done. I also want to have this a little more flattened. Go to flatten that. All right, and then that is going to be our thumbnail. I did this on the list page again. Darn it. So now I can have, what happened there? Oh, did I do this on the list page too? Jeez. Okay, so now we'll assemble like the Avengers. We'll get our stuff here. Get it situated the way it was supposed to be. And then here we go. Something like that. And then I'll move these down. Merge down. Merge down. I don't need to see the pantry anymore. Merge down. And then I will do another merge down. Merge down. It's a great band name. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and save. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and watch a video again, another little break, and then from there, I will start doing the roughs for the panel borders, and then we'll do the rough. This is the thumbnail. We're going to take from the thumbnail to doing roughs for the page that I can then send to the publisher. And while I'm doing that, we'll listen to some preview music, some rock and roll. So if you guys haven't yet, though, and you want to hear it now, check out They Don't Care About the Born by Joshua Kemble. There's a link to it. The Spotify down there, you can get it on Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, etc. Or if you want to help the channel out, there's also a link to my to Temu that'll give you, I think, 30% off on orders and also kick me back a little bit of cash as well. So feel free to support the channel by doing that or sending a super chat. And but the music's free, so definitely make sure you check out that. They Don't Care About the Born, and I will be right back. We're gonna play. Let's see what we'll play this time. We're gonna play Home Shopping Kemble, Jim Luhan's cartoon.
Well, thank you, Colleen. I hope your daughter Kelly does well at North Carolina State this year. Well, we got another caller on the line. Elizabeth from Phoenix, Arizona. Elizabeth, what can we do for you? Are you ready to do some shopping, girl?
Oh, yes, Terry. I am ready to do some shopping today. I'm interested in that 2-book set you have. 2 Stories and Jacob's Apartment.
Oh, well, that's a great choice.
In fact, I bought these books before. I gave a set to my grandson, Hunter. These books are amazing.
Well, they sure are, and if you buy both of them, you really get the whole feel of the whole Joshua Kemble universe. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do, Terry. These books are remarkable because, for one, you can take them anywhere. You could put them in your car, and you can go to the park or the river. We've gone to the river. My husband Taylor and I, we just love it. And I murdered my husband at the river. Yeah, I did. But these still are amazing books.
Yes, the infomercial is hilarity from Jim Lujan. If you want more hilarity, I recommend you guys check out Jim Lujan on the YouTube. He's kind of amazing. Okay, so I have this little template that's my thumbnails that kind of allows me to work out my panel borders. So that's what we'll do real quick. And then after that, what I'm going to do, I blue lined the thumbnail. So we're going to use that as our roughs, basically build our roughs off of. So like our loose sketches to build our roughs off of. And then similarly, okay. So there's a couple things I'm going to leave here that are going to help with the final. I mainly just want to leave those little corners, you know. The nice thing about this having this thumbnail template is if I go here to view extras, it's all set up with my pan border or the side of the page that it needs to be on. Because like depending on whether it's recto or versa, the on the book, it that dictates kind of like what way it's gonna kind of be laid out because it needs bleed on different sides. So to make sure that that is consistent, I always try to kind of set that up a little early so I don't even have to worry about template setups and stuff. Like the nice thing about working this way is when you get to the point of finals, it's like I will be able to do revisions and stuff like that, but pretty much like the book layout will be pretty much done and ready to rock when the last page is done, which is a good thing. The last thing you want to do is work for years on a graphic novel and then spend another 4 months or 5 months like formatting a book that you could have formatted the whole time. So yeah. So real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the thumbnails. And my wife is asking whether they should grab food, and I'm going to say yes, grab food. Okay. So, cool. That was easy. And now we're gonna do our 4 panel here. So I'll start here because I want them to be kind of slim. Oh my gosh, there's lag with my computer right now. And then from there, we're going to do 4. So I'm going to divide it into 4. So we'll see if my guesstimate here is correct. We could like measure it, but that's boring. And all the measuring and stuff, that's going to happen on the final anyway. So on a thumbnail, it's just kind of, or a rough, it's kind of silly to do wild measurements and stuff. You can kind of correct that as you go. Although again, like the more you kind of do at the rough stage, like the less work for you later on. I don't like this. I don't like that. That feels like a bad division. Okay, let's do here. A little wider. Could have maybe saved some time actually measuring it. Okay, there we go. And we're going to do one more. And now I'm going to clean that up a little bit. And you know what we'll do? We're going to do a cheat. We're going to do, just so that the thumbnails are consistent, or the roughs, keep getting roughs and thumbnails mixed up. What I'm going to do here is make this nice and solid again. And we'll just use this. Let's erase some of that stuff. And then we'll just use this. In theory, that should work. Okay, and one more. Come on. Oh, I see what's happening here. Okay. I was trying to line that up as if that was the center line, and then I realized, oh wait, I have a different panel size for that, so that would actually make a little sense if it's not lining up. Okay, this should work now. Boom. All right, so again, this is a rough, not a final, so can keep it nice and loose. But be good to have. Here, I'm going to have this go here. Have this here. This is going to go here. I know, guys. I do want to play some music for you guys. So we're going to play some music in a second, where I'm going to play you guys little sneak peeks of my album. And some also unreleased tracks that have yet to be mastered. You will be the first to hear them. Exclusive. Reclusive. Okay. I don't know. Okay, here we go. We're going to do this, and then this, and this. And now we have our panel borders. And now all I have to do is save, and then we're going to go ahead and make a copy of my thumbnail so I don't blow it, just in case. And then I'm going to resize this to be kind of like a template to kind of work over as it goes. And then kind of move stuff as need be. And I like the idea of this being kind of here. And then this, I can just move to here to where these are kind of framed correctly. And now I have a nice rough under my rough. And then I can tighten it up just a little bit for my client and add type so they can get a rough idea of what the comic's going to be. So now we're going to build over this. So I'm going to add the text where it says, all the stuff. I'll call this layer drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and get all my type blocked in. So again, this is just really rough. Spirit. We implore you. And then it's going to have this text bubble. And then here she's going to say, do you feel that really small? Do you? Or not do you, did you? And then this will be do. And then this can say it was almost A breath. On the back of my neck. Pepsi Cola said roughs are cool to see the blueprint in blue. Yeah, I don't know why I use blue. I think it's because like back in the day you'd do this with like a blue pencil. And so old habits die hard. But cyan is also like really nice color, either that or magenta, to just kind of stand out where you can have it under the line. Pretty easy to read, but it's just easy to separate from what you build over it. So again, this is thumbnails. Or at this point, we're working on roughs. But there's our text. I'm going to do just some more here. This will be like again, like this is a Victorian book, so I have a lot of my sound effects are going to be in like a sort of old-timey. And we'll just kind of see where it goes from there. And we're kind of building it out, right? Because now this will give me a rough idea of what to do for the type when it comes to the final, right? Each thing just kind of adds to the next. Right now, I'm just adding all my SFX. And now we'll have our clack. Is going to be her saying, huh? And then we just have one more piece of text, which will be here. We'll do this as a kind of, again, just roughing in what the final will roughly look like. Hey, now we have all the type in. What we're going to do is I'll play one more Luhan thing. We're going to play, we'll preview the album. We'll preview a little bit of They Don't Care About the album I just released. So first, let's watch another Jim Luhan, Kids Say Kemble. And then when we come back, we'll work on roughing this out. And from there, also playing a preview of my album.
You know, the Georgia kids say the craziest thing.
So, little Susie, do you have any brothers or sisters? I understand you're in 3rd grade. How do you like that? Do you like your teacher? You like to do a lot of fun things at school? You got any hobbies, Susie? Any things you like to do when you're not in school? I hear you like to read.
Well,
Right now I'm reading two stories written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It grapples with faith and mental illness. It's ultimately a story about redemption. It's a savage piece of writing. Also, I just finished up Jacob's Apartment, another one by Kemble. Jacob's Apartment weaves together elements of spiritualism and relationship dynamics, as well as atheism. And all the while it deals with abandonment and loyalty. It's a fierce, fierce read.
Do you like ponies?
Born, a little preview of the album, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about what the songs are about. This first song is called Proxy Wars, and it gets into a little bit of history of the proxy wars that our country gets into, starting with the Reagan administration and Iran-Contra, and then kind of ties it into current times with the conflict going on with Ukraine and Russia, and how at the end of the day, like, the people who profit off of war are usually weapons suppliers. And it almost seems like an organized effort to kind of have the poor fight in proxy wars. So that's what this song is about. But it's done in a fun, cool way. So hopefully you guys like it. And you might recognize the music because I use it for my theme song.
Sandinistas. 10 years later, Contras fought to defeat us. They've got the power to keep the wheel moving with the cause of the group. They've got an interest to keep the people passive while they're making their moves. Keep consuming, keep collecting, keep digesting what they're feeding. Keep passive and keep quiet. The last thing people should do is riot. They know that it's wrong, but maintain the illusion that everything's clear-cut and has a solution. An old white man in a red tie and suit who promises strength and colludes with the Russian, blaming the poor while he sends them to war. But isn't that just what a proxy war's for? Then Russia invades their good neighbor Ukraine while we hold back the funds together on arrival. 1 year later we will make a good profit, selling bombs to Ukraine while we collect intel. They've got the power to keep the wheel moving with the cause of the group. They've got an interest to keep the people passive while they're making their moves. Keep consuming, keep collecting, keep digesting what they're feeding. Keep passive and keep quiet. The last thing people should do is riot. Keep passive and keep quiet. One last thing, people should riot.
All right, so that was Proxy Wars from my album They Don't Care About Born, and so that's a little preview of that. If you like it, I would recommend follow it on Spotify. Maybe consider buying it on Apple Music or iTunes or Amazon. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can listen to it on Amazon Music, I guess. But anyhow, so that was Proxy Wars. Now we're going to get into the next one, and then I will continue drawing my rough for page 109 of oh my gosh, I blinked on the name. Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. which is the graphic novel that I'm working on for Turner Publishing. Okay, this next song that I'm going to play is called Cold-Hearted Poser. And this is about my irritation with people who pretend to be like really politically active or really concerned about the poor or concerned about stuff. And meanwhile, their Instagram accounts are like, this is the food I ate yesterday. And it's like trendy, hip stuff, where for them, politics is like a, it's like another trend. It's like the fashion to wear at the time. And so their viewpoints and their activism will all kind of blow and change with the wind, depending on what the hip kids are doing. And I can't stand that. And so I wrote a song about it called Cold-Hearted Poser. That's specifically about kind of like soccer moms that pretend that they care about politics when really they just are caring about fashion. And politics is just another form of fashion for them. And I can't stand that, so I wrote a song about it. So this one's called Cold-Hearted Poser.
Facet of the lens, all bluster and pretense. On paper, you're a concert ally. You rose again. A second coming tends to look good to your friends. You post the best defense that fashionably trends. You post all of the best things to buy. You change like wind. You make and then rescind. Statements so in vogue, how all the cool kids rose. You're so concerned to note how poorly other folks have done to change the notes. Playing out loud, I think you're fake. Constantly a fake, a hypocrite who takes. You fight when there's no stakes. A pop culture vulture, a mindless consumer. No love with me, just a cold-hearted user. Cool little poser, won't you pose again? Eat some trendy food, take a picture with your friends. Got some new glasses, aren't these in vogue? Pretend that you're concerned about the people on the ropes. Cool little poser with your prim and proper friends. Take a selfie at the rally to use as your defense. Concerned about whatever all the cool kids care about. As long as you can shout it, sitting back upon your couch. You grew up rich. The codes you try to switch. Entitled little kid. Pretend you had it bad. A spoiled child who never suffered. You think you're right each and every time. You always blur the line. You're changing all the time. I wish you'd grow a spine. Pretend everything is fine. Strong opinions unopposed. Tilting at your very own. Custom made and sewn. Opposition strong men and wills. A pop culture vulture. I think you're fake. Constantly a flake. A hypocrite who takes. You fight when there's no stakes. A pop culture vulture, a mindless consumer. No love within, just a cold-hearted user. You're a cold-hearted poser, poser. You're a cold-hearted poser. You're a cold-hearted poser, poser. You're a cold-hearted poser. A pop culture vulture, a mindless consumer. You're a cold-hearted poser. You're a cold-hearted poser. Cool little poser, won't you pose again? Eat some trendy food, take a picture with your friends. Got some new glasses, aren't these in vogue? Pretend that you're concerned about the people on the ropes. Cool little poser with your prim and proper friends. Take a selfie at the rally to use as your defense. Concerned about whatever all the cool kids care about. As long as you can shout it, sitting back upon your couch. You're a cold-hearted poser, poser. A mindless consumer. A cold-hearted poser, poser. A cold-hearted consumer. A cold-hearted poser, poser.
All right, so that was Cold-Hearted Poser. And Pepsi Cola said, I wrote a song the other day called Thoughtless Thinkers, the lost cousin of this year's song, apparently. I'd love to hear it. That'd be cool. He said, this is excellent and depressingly accurate. Yeah, I also mentioned, it's also not just about posers in the sense of like politics. It's more about like, we've all met people who like, sorry, there's my dogs are freaking out. But we've all met people who like maybe like were really not into like a pop cultural property, and suddenly it blows up and they're like the biggest fan. They're suddenly like the indie insider of like the cool thing. And again, they just kind of change like wind with whatever it is. So that's what that song was about, was just, people who are fake and how annoying they are and cold-hearted they are, because there's no like heart to it. It's like, it's usually somebody who doesn't really love something. They're kind of in it for the fun or for the trend. And that's just annoying. So anyhow, the next song here is just giving you guys a preview of my my album, They Don't Care About the Born. This one's about surgery. So this one's called Surgery. This one is a little more like emo-y. It's a song about how basically life works sometimes, where sometimes you have to kind of go through really crazy hardships that kind of turn you inside out and really like just rake you across the coals. But you come out stronger for it, right? And so this is just a song about that and calling that process surgery, almost like fixing something within your life or within your world, but in like a really uncomfortable way where it just ripped apart in the process. And so this is my song called Surgery. So let's get into that. Here it is. That'll be number 3. Oh, if it loads. Okay, here it is. All right, so that was Surgery off my album. They Don't Care About the Born that I just released like 2 days ago. Hopefully you guys are digging this. I just thought, like I'm a creative naturally, and so what I'm going to be doing, and I don't know what's unlocked recently, but it's like I plan on making tons of music and art, and just kind of nonstop. And so I already have like 2 songs tracked that I haven't released yet that I'm going to probably play a little sneak preview to, depending on how long it takes to kind of finish up these roughs. And right now what I'm doing just on my roughs for, Not Death But Love, the Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, is I'm just establishing some lighting. And again, that way when I get to the finals of these pages, I'll have like a real clear idea of what the vibe is of this whole page. But anyhow, my point is, on my live stream, I like to share creative work that I'm doing, and I'm super proud of this album. Like I actually really feel like some of the best songs I've written. I'm also working on music with No Saboteurs. That's music that I work on and record pretty much every day. And we're almost done with an album as well. But this is just like solo stuff that I just had to write and all the parts to and stuff like that. So that was Surgery. That was like kind of more emo-y song. Let's see what chat's saying too. Nice. Pepsi said art liberation, release your inhibitions. Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm doing, is just making cool stuff. That's the goal. But along with making cool stuff, it takes time and effort. So if you guys add this to your Spotify playlist, check it out for yourselves. They Don't Care About the Born by Joshua Kemble. It'd be greatly appreciated. Or you can purchase it on iTunes or Apple Music if you like buying your music. And let's see here. Let's get into the next song. So this song is about data harvesting. And this was very inspired by Corey Kerr, my friend Corey Kerr, my good friend Corey Kerr. He's always kind of talking about data harvesting. He recommended it years ago, a couple books on the topic about, how pretty much every social media company is harvesting your information and just kind of selling your data without your knowledge or your consent. And quite often, to whoever the highest bidder is, with no real understanding of kind of, even like, a lot of these companies themselves even have an understanding of what's happening with this information, or some of them aren't even using them for like malicious intent, but just the fact that all this information collected and it's kind of available to whoever the highest bidder is it should be a little concerning. So I wrote a little jingle about that called Data Harvesting, and that's right here.
Your brain is malleable. They want to force confession, insist on various ways to get the evidence. While all around you it seems they gather information without a second thought to what they gather. Harvesting our information, recording everything we buy, selling all our information to the highest bidder. Harvesting our information, recording everything we like, selling all our information till the sales in winter. Questioning what matters. Harvesting our information, recording everything we buy, selling all our information to the highest bidder. Harvesting our information, recording everything we like, selling all our information till the sales in winter. Harvesting our information, recording everything we buy, selling all our information to the highest bidder. Harvesting our information, recording everything we like, selling all our information till the sales in winter. Your brain is malleable.
Nice. So that was harvesting our information. Jim just joined in the chats for a bit. He said, hey there, Josh, I'm going to be watching this on replay tomorrow while I'm working on my film. Please remind me to save my progress. Thanks. Jim, save your progress. What are you doing right now, Jim Lujan? Save your progress on your work. Your animations are important. You don't want to lose them to a computer failure or crash. Speaking of, I'm going to save my information. Also, Jim said he prefers. He said his wife prefers Pepsi over Coke. I like Pepsi if it's cherry Pepsi. But other than that, like I like cherry Pepsi more than cherry Coke. If we're drinking just sodas, which I barely drink, but when I do, I am a Coca-Cola loyalist. I hope that doesn't lose your interest, Pepsi. All right. So now we're going to play another song. We're just burning through them. This one, let me see what's next on the dock. So this one's called To Think Wheatley, and I wrote this one as a love song to my wife because she is the best person in the planet, and I love her. So this song is a sappy love song for my wife, and that would be is for my wife. But anyhow, here it is. My wife. So that was the cheesy love song from my album They Don't Care About the Born, which is my new album that's out. It's got 10 tracks, and they cover all kinds of topics, and you should check them out. I noticed that Marsh just joined in the chats. How's it going, Marsh? All right, so we're going to do the next. So I've just been running through the album and just kind of explaining what the tracks are like while I'm working on my rough for page 109 of Not Death But Love, The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. which I am going to be hopefully finishing the thumbnails relatively soon. But while I'm working on them, we're doing a little preview of the album I released 2 days ago. So now we're going to get on to track 6. I think we're on 6 tracks. Let's see where that is. So what's next on the dock? Okay, this one's actually the kind of, this is straight up just kind of punk song about trashing social conservatives who claim to care about the unborn, but tend to in action not care at all about the born. And so this song is about that, and about kind of how some of capitalism can be really destructive to human beings. And yeah, so this is my little punk song, my little anti-right wing punk song. So here is They Don't Care About the Born. And this will be, and again, it's not trashing all conservatives, it's just trashing those who claim to care about life, but in policy are only concerned about unborn life and not so much human life, which to me is kind of a contradiction. So anyhow, so let's get into that. That's going to be number 6. Let me pull it up. Up. Okay, and then we'll have number 6. Here it is. So that was They Don't Care About the Born. So again, the gist of that was, people rigging systems, claiming traditional values and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, the objective is to kind of keep power in, the hands of really old white men, basically. and I don't know, the older I get, the more I see that as a common thing. So yeah, and it annoys me. So I wrote a song about it. Nice. Pepsi said, "See my youthfully bitter soul." I love it. That's awesome. I'm glad you like it. Yeah. So that was They Don't Care About the Born. That's what I named the album off of. I don't necessarily think that's like the best song on the album, but I liked the title. So I used that as the title for the album. Let's get into the next track. The next track is on again, it's a bunch of different topics. And so I'm just going to roughly kind of say what I was thinking when I wrote them. Let's see here. So the next song this might be my favorite song that I recorded on here. This one's called Love Among the Ruins. And so this song is kind of a post-apocalyptic nightmare kind of scenario where I was thinking about just envisioning a world where everything is being destroyed. There's, cities being turned to rubble, earthquakes, going on. Basically like the apocalypse, and finding love amid the apocalypse. So this song is called Love Among the Ruins. And this is the one I'd say of every song on this album, I'm actually the most proud of this one. I think this is just a really cool song. So, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments or in the chats, but let's see here. So that'll be, let me get that loaded up. All right, here it is.
Tidal wave crashes to the shore, sky burning warm, spreading billows of clouds of smoke. Erodes everything in its way. Sand solidified and it liquefies. The trees are rooted out and petrified.
I don't know if you guys are getting weird delays, but I am. So it's doing weird stuff with the timing. So hopefully that didn't have like too much like slowing and speeding up. I was noticing there was a little lag in the stream, so I don't know. But again, if you guys want to hear like this in the entirety, it's on like every music streaming form as Joshua Kemble. They don't care about the Born, and you can listen to the whole thing in its entirety, like best mix and stuff. But this is a live stream where we're just kind of hanging out, so hopefully it wasn't too weird. Nice. And then Pepsi said, "Love the thematic choices and soundscape you went with." Thanks. All right, so we're getting there, guys, on this rough. There's about 5 more panels to go. We're at the 2-hour mark, so as usual, I'm going to play a trailer. I've been playing the Luhan trailers, so I guess we'll finish up the trilogy and do Wordzoid Luhan trailer, and then I will come back and we'll hopefully get finished with this because it is definitely lunchtime. I need to eat, but I need to finish this page first, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, here is the trailer, Wordzoid, and I'll be right back, and then we'll play the rest of the album. So, and as well as a sneak peek at 2 unmastered songs as well. So, for that are unreleased. Okay, here we go.
Well, Peter, since I'm such a big music fan, I'm going to have to go with Karen Carpenter. Oh, Stu, I'm sorry. That's the incorrect answer. Trish, what you got for us?
I'm gonna go with Kim Gordon.
All right, let's check that answer. Kim Gordon. Do we have a Kim Gordon? Yes, and that means you're our new Wordzoid champion, Trish. Dale, tell Trish what she's won. Trish, you've won a copy of 2 Stories, a memoir of faith and mental illness. Handwritten, hand-drawn, and handed to you by artist and writer Joshua Kemble. But wait, that's not all. You've also won a copy of Jacob's Apartment, the story of a doomed romance. What happens when you take Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and put it in a blender with Ghost World? You get Jacob's Apartment, written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. Trish, thank you for playing Wordzoid.
All right, great job, Trish. I was told I was gonna get a lifetime supply of paper towels.
All right, welcome back. All right, so we're gonna play another track off of "They Don't Care About the Born" release, album release, and this one, and then we'll work on our thumbnail. And as I reminded Jim before, I'm gonna save my file so that I don't get these roughs saved over. But anyhow, so let me pull it up. So this one is it track 7 or 8 we're on? Okay, we're on track 8. So track 8 is Semiotic Meaning. And to me, this song is about how there's materialists. This song is kind of an anti-materialist song. There's people who philosophically are materialists that kind of view human beings as just like piles of veins and electrical impulses and stuff like that. And I can't personally boil humanity down to that. And that's what this song is about. So this song's about semiotic meaning, which is deeper than material substance. And that's kind of the whole point of it, is that when you start getting into semiotics and you start getting into story and art, there's something deeper. And like, no one can convince me of this world just being material. It's just, it innately doesn't feel right to say that the world is just a material thing. So this is about that. It's called Semiotic Meaning. And this is track 8 on They Don't Care About the Born.
Bodies that aren't even our home, we go it alone, using sticks and stones, fashioning our tools to harvest food, to build houses, then to kill. Am I overthinking it? simple marks and words. Wires crossed through the X in her eyes. Ash and sand. That's where we began. Bodies and bodies, something more. Wires crossed through the X in the eyes. Could I shake this mortal coil of veins and blood to see above into the semiotic? If I could, I'd shake this mortal coil of veins and blood to see above into the to the X of the eyes. Skin and bones rotting from within. These bodies that aren't even our home. We go it alone, using sticks and stones, fashioning our tools to harvest food, to build houses, then to kill. Am I overthinking it? Does it seem like we're more than just miles and miles of veins and nerves? Wires crossed to the X in her eye. Am I oversharing this? Sometimes it seems like there's more inside art than simple marks and words. Wires crossed to the X in her eyes. Ash and sand. That's where we began. Bodies and bodies, something more. Wires crossed to the X in the eyes. Swirling whirling to the X of the eyes.
All right. So, I mean, basically about, materialism being kind of a scumbag viewpoint where it just, places people and makes them, skin, bones, and meat. And that's just not the way I choose to view humans, And so, so that's what that song's about. And then there's a line that's wires crossed till the X of the eyes, basically, like when you're dead, that people just kind of view that we're just a bunch of wires that are crossed until death. And I just, I can't, I can't vibe with that viewpoint. It just doesn't seem right when I think about like the Milky Way and just the beauty and art and music. It's just, I don't think as an artist it's easy to function with that kind of viewpoint. So so that's what that song's about. All right, we're almost through the album, you guys. We're almost through the album, and we're almost through the page, which is great. This song is goofy as hell. I love thought experiments. Like, one of my favorite things in the world is like ethics thought experiments. They're really wild and interesting, and I know like for a lot of people it might seem like a waste of time, but I think they're actually really valuable to kind of like start pinpointing where your framework of belief is. And like, so there's a lot of like classic ethics problems, but I decided to write a song about the brain in a vat experiment. And I pretty much go over the ethics problem in the song, so I'll just let that speak for itself. But I figured there needs to be a song about the brain in the vat experiment because it's interesting. And also I wanted to write a song that had a lot of chug riffs. Like, I just felt like I need to chug on this guitar. So that's what this is. This is my brain in a vat experiment. This is track 9. So that was the brain in the vat experiment. Again, just playing songs from my album. They Don't Care About the Born. That's song 9. So we're almost through the whole album. And hopefully this has piqued your interest, and at least enough to like check it on Spotify, add to your lists on Spotify or your favorites. And if you want to like kick a little cash for it, you can purchase it on iTunes or Apple Music. And I'll be, occasionally playing this, on live streams, and because it's kind of fun to share this part of my art output, as well as like the comics and stuff that I do. And what we're working on now is also page 109 of Not Death But Love, The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And then, spoiler alert, I will be playing 2 unmastered tracks that are not yet released, that are probably going to be on future solo albums. So you guys will get a little sneak peek at what that sounds like before mastering, which will not be as good as the final master, but it gives you a little behind the scenes peek and a reward for listening to my stream, which is kind of cool. So before anyone else gets to hear it, you guys can hear it. Also, we are almost done with this page, so hopefully we'll have enough time to play those. I think we might come in right on time to play those. I do want to get a cup of water real quick, a glass of water. So I will put on a trailer, and then we will play the last song on They Don't Care About the Born by Joshua Kemble. There's a link down there. Let's see here. Let's find our... So that was the Brain in the Vat experiment, and now we will play a trailer, and I will be right back. Here is Philip Chandler talking about my books.
Hi, my name is Phil Chandler. I'm a freelance artist, illustrator, and cartoonist. Today, though, however, I want to tell you about a graphic novel I picked up recently called Jacob's Apartment. This book was both written and beautifully illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It is the story of a doomed romance that causes the main character to question his beliefs and his faith, while he's also going through other tragedies in his life. Every page has been illustrated by hand and digitally colored with painstaking detail. It is an emotional story that causes you to think and even question things in your own life. And while the story is a tragedy, it is one that I was completely entertained by, and I highly recommend. You can currently find this on Amazon, or even check in with your local bookstore and see if you can order it. And while you're at it, you can also check out my Instagram at Phil Chandler Arts, and also my YouTube channel by the same name, Phil Chandler Arts. And go buy Jacob's Apartment.
All right, so let's do the last track. Let's do the last song. So this one's a really fun one. This was a song where I was envisioning the end of a movie with Bonnie and Clyde characters who just pulled off their last heist and are driving off into the desert with, spent shells and a briefcase full of money in the back seat. And that's what this song's about. This one's highly fictional, but it's let's see here. So let me find that, and then we'll play this last track, and then I will play you guys the sneak peek of 2 songs. So here it is.
After
right, so that was all 10 tracks from my album that's They Don't Care About the Born, which I hope you guys will consider checking out because I'm pretty proud of it, and it's been pretty cool to see. It's been cool to release it. And again, I don't know what's been going on lately, but like I've been super inspired. And I'm a big believer in like hard work over inspiration, meaning like you'll get inspired when you work hard, but there are times where like, man, the muse hits hard, and I have felt just like super super inspired and stoked about music and art, and it's been fun to kind of have it's just been to have this happening. So anyhow, please support those efforts just by adding it to your Spotify playlists, maybe favorite it or something like that, or just purchase the album. And that's like, now what I'll do, just as a reward for those of you who are hanging in there and have been watching the whole thing, we're gonna go ahead and play a trailer. I'll play you guys 2 songs that I've tracked that have yet to be mastered. Those were all mastered, and obviously will sound a lot better not being on a live stream. But like in the context of a music player, they're going to sound great. Hopefully they sounded all right for you guys now. But anyhow, my point is, unmastered raw cuts of 2 new songs that I have that will probably be on a future album that maybe I'll finish in a month or so, or 2 months. But till then, you'll never be able to hear this, and you'll never really hear these unmastered cuts outside of on this stream. So it's an exclusive just for you guys, and I will play you guys that. Both of these songs are about crap workplaces. One of them is going to be about the first one is about manipulative people who basically use like dirty tricks to kind of take people out politically, and don't have ethics, and unfortunately kind of sometimes win in the workplace. And about that, but like about not being out for the count. So it's an interesting song. I have no idea where these songs are coming from, but I've been enjoying them quite a bit. And we have finished our rough for page 109, but I'm gonna stick in there just for you guys. So I'm gonna go back to I'll go back to this view. Oh wait, let's show it real quick. This we finished just now. So we now have a rough, which is great. So that's what I needed. So before I go to lunch and end the stream, we'll end it with those last 2 songs, and then I'm going to call it a day. So this is the song about just a crappy coworker that uses dirty politics. That's what this is about. And it's unmastered, so the levels are a little...
'cause I gotta come down now. I won't stay down. I'll be your worst nightmare. When you lay down, hope you sleep soundly, because tomorrow you're gonna fall for your own trap, choke on your own crap. People you surround yourself know that you're scheming, broken a demon, and you play dirty with the lie that you sell. You are a villain, I'll be your worst nightmare. You're no angel, I think you're the devil. You're horrible, I think they should rebel.
Okay, so that's unmastered, right? So, and I believe my friend is mastering them, so I will send you guys. I won't send them to you, but I'll probably play the mastered versions in the future on this stream until I release that album, because I think the whole theme of that album is going to be just like modern work environments. I think it'll be fun. And then here's one that's about workplaces pushing people to nervous breakdowns because they just work people too hard. And so that's what this one's about. And then we'll call it for the stream. So, but thanks for hanging out, by the way, on the stream. This is what we finished today, right? We have our thumbnail. I will probably be back on because I have to rough out 2 more pages before I start getting to final pages. So thanks for hanging out with me. And as a reward for those of you who stayed to the end, here is the last unreleased song. I literally finished this one yesterday. So, or actually today. Unmastered.
They're watching you. Collapse of my rational faculties. Nervous breakdown from overthinking things. Who do you trust if you can't trust your mind? Stepping ahead just to fall back behind. Push you to the brink, keeping you on the grind. So you have a total breakdown. Put me in an institution for the mind to correct my thinking about the daily grind. Had to sign some papers, sign away my rights. And then the place that drove me deep into this state felt the weight of balancing my whole lost my grip as reality unfurled. A total breakdown. Don't trust anything they say. They're record your every move to you someday. Don't trust anything they do. Anything that you say could be used against you. They're watching you. Collapse of my rational faculties. Nervous breakdown from overthinking things. Who do you trust if you can't trust your mind? Stepping ahead just to fall back behind. Push you to the brink, keeping you on the grind. So you have a total breakdown.
All right, guys, that was the sneak peek of 2 unmastered tracks. If you like the music that you heard on this stream, please make sure that you check out the album, which is it's called "They Don't Care About the Born." It's under Joshua Kemble, and make sure you're following me for future albums and music and stuff. If you like the rough that I was working on, you should see the finals. They're better. So these are just roughs that are being sent to the client to get approval, and then I make really polished kind of finished work. And if you want to see that, make sure you're following me. And also, if you want to see 2 of my finished graphic novels, make sure you've picked up Jacob's Apartment and 2 Stories, both indie graphic novels that I've done. And also make sure you're following me so I can let you know when Not Death But the Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning is out. So I'll be working on more roughs later today, but right now I'm going to go eat lunch. I hope you guys have a good day. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you haven't yet, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications when we're about to go live. If you're going to be purchasing something for cheap, like things like parts for guitars or cheap art supplies and stuff like that, and you use Temu, make sure you click that Temu link down below. It'll give you, I think, like 30% off, and also give me a kickback as well. So that's another way you can support the show. And thanks, guys, for hanging out. Really appreciate you guys. And I hope you have a good day. And I will see you on the next live stream. And Jim Lujan, if you're watching this, save your files. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.